Antony Phillipson is the UK Trade Commissioner in North America. The Commissioner joins me now. I know, and I'm sure you'll tell me that this was just preparations in case it was necessary. But what are you going to say to America's politicians and diplomats when they say to you, Commissioner, why should we do a deal with you when the UK can't keep its word?
Well, thanks for having me on again, Richard. I mean, this is a live issue and it's playing out in London and Dublin and Brussels as we speak, and I'm not part of that process, I should be clear. What we are saying to our American colleagues, indeed, we're in the middle of the fourth round of negotiations now, and we're cracking on with that, is that we believe that we should focus on doing a free trade agreement that is in the interest of both economies. At the same time, my colleagues back in London are very focused on delivering the rest of the process of our leaving the EU in a way that is fully cognizant of our obligations under the Good Friday Agreement, as well as, of course, ensuring the smooth implementation of the new framework for the UK internal market. And that was the legislation that was passed today, or introduced today, forgive me, and will now be debated.
Right, but you are in the US, and Brendan Boyle of the Ways and Means Committee was quoted yesterday and this morning as saying that if the UK can't commit to a deal, or it's going to break deal, then it's difficult to enter into a trade agreement. So whilst I understand that you're sort of, you're 3,500 miles away from the scene of the crime, so to speak, you are in a position where people like Brendan Boyle are saying, we're not going to talk to you until this is clarified.
So I think, well, I would challenge, of course, your description of it as the scene of a crime. This is the scene of an introduction of a piece of UK legislation in the UK Parliament. It is designed to ensure the smooth implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol in a way that protects the gains of the peace process, protects the Good Friday Agreement, the interests of both communities in Northern Ireland. At the same time, we are, of course, negotiating with the US Trade Representative an agreement. We are very aware of views on the Hill. We spend a lot of time talking to both sides of the aisle on the Hill, and we are confident that we can deliver an agreement. And then we will focus on working with our US colleagues to get that agreement through Congress.
Right. We will move on in the sense that an agreement has to be reached. But, I mean, you've got two things here, Commissioner. You've got, on the one hand, a US election in November, and you've got a transitional agreement process coming to an end at the end of December. So you're going to have to negotiate with the current administration if you want to get anything done by the end of the year, even if if Donald Trump loses the election. Can you do it?
So as we've talked about before, Richard, I mean, we're aware of the external sort of context in terms of timing, both on the EU track, which is a finite in terms of the transition period ending at the end of December, and of course the upcoming US election. We have made very good progress in the FTA negotiations and are continuing to do so, despite the complications of negotiating during the COVID context. We will do as much as we can before the election. We will then see what decision the American people make, and we will pick up that process after the election. That's all we can do, and I think that's what we're focused on. It's what our US colleagues are focused on, and that's what we will crack on and keep focused on going forward.